as expensive as vegetable plants are, as expensive as starts are, there's no way in the world that I'm going to let these volunteer plants not get replanted in the proper position. I have at least 10. So yeah, take advantage of your volunteer plants. Free starts, better known as volunteer plants. Now, every year I find volunteer plants in my garden. This year I found collard greens. I've also found mustard greens. Probably about 20 mustard green plants. That's probably about all that I was going to plant anyway. I have about 10 collard green plants back here. Now I did plant more, but still, you think I'm going to ignore the fact that I have free plants? When 6-packs cost, what, $5.99? Maybe $6.99? Maybe even more? I'm not buying any this year, so I really don't know. So I'm going to replant these volunteer plants. I've already dug my holes, and I've added some chicken poop. I love adding chicken poop. I am going to add some alfalfa pellets to some of my other parts of my garden. It's kind of an experiment to see what works best, but chicken poop provides plenty of nutrition of what you need for your plants, plenty of nitrogen. And collard green plants, mustard green plants are heavy feeders. So you can't just feed them once and say, okay, I'm good. You got to feed them several times during the season. Sometimes you may add some liquid fertilizer. Other times you might want to add some more chicken poop as more of a top dressing, or compost as a top dressing. As you can see, I haven't completely given up on my summer vegetables. I still have, these are cherry tomatoes, and I picked some earlier today. So for right now, I'm just going to let these be, because my fall vegetables aren't going to be in the way, or they aren't going to be in the way of my fall vegetables. So when you're picking out a start or a volunteer plant, something that's very important: dig deep. You really want to make sure that you aren't harming the roots, because these are still baby plants. Now, once I've dug it up, next step, since these two came up right next to each other, I want to gently separate them. Oh yeah, that worked out perfectly. Take a look at that. I didn't tear any roots. Nothing got ripped, nothing got injured. So yeah, these plants should do very well. Now I just need to get them planted and water them in. So now that I have all these planted, I realized the first set that I dug up, those might have been cabbages, because I had one row that was cabbages and collard greens. So we'll see, no matter what. The others, I'm pretty sure, are collard greens, because that's exactly where my last collard green plant was that I let go to seed. Well, as you can see, I have 8 plants. So whether they're collards or cabbage, honestly, I could really care less. The main thing is they're free food. So I made a mistake in identifying them. At least I think I did, but I know some are collards. But the main thing is, these are vegetable plants that I got for free. Easily $7, $8 worth of plants. And it's a good start. Now these are the mustard greens that I had planted last fall, and I harvested them twice. This is when I'm about to do my second harvest on them. And one thing I noticed, not only did they grow as big as they were when I first harvested them, they actually grew even better. And the second thing I noticed is that they were about to go to seed. If you look here, right there, that's the sign that they're about to go to seed. because it started growing really tall, much taller than all the other plants. And I saw little seed buds. Not necessarily seed buds, but those little spots up top, those turn into flowers, and then eventually those turn into little green bean type pods. Once those pods turn brown, you can harvest them, or you can just let them go to the ground, and they might create volunteer plants. So here's a good look at those mustard green volunteer plants that I mentioned. I know some of these guys are huge, but they started growing up in mid-July. And look at all the small ones down there. I have at least 20, maybe 25 plants. So I'm going to move the big ones to permanent locations and leave the small ones there for a while until they can get big enough so I can transplant them. So as you're removing your summer garden, take a close look around. You might have some valuable volunteer plants out there. Don't mess it up. Save those plants and move them around so you can have another row of plants. Then let's get out there and get a little dirty. Yeah.